JHK here for the AllStar. And join me right now from New York City is UFC welterweight Randy Brown. Randy, what's good, man? It's been a while, but you got that big smile on your face, so I know you got a fight coming up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has been a while, you know what I mean? Me and you've been doing this for a while now. Yeah, man, I got a good fight, a tough fight and fun fight for the fans. So we're gonna get it rocking.
For
1 week
sure.
away.
For sure, man. And before we get into the fight and your opponent and the breakdown of that fight, I want to delve into your YouTube channel, man, because I've noticed it being active more as
Mhm.
of late. Rude Boy TV, if you don't know, go subscribe to it. The thing that really caught my eyes is the motorcycles and the quads. When did you start riding? Like, is that something you've been doing since like a teenager or something?
Yeah, I've been riding for a while. I just never really put it out there, you know. I never really owned my own quad, my own motorcycle. I've always riding my friend's stuff or my brother had his and I used to always sneak and ride it. But I never had my own, so I recently just got my own and I relaunched the YouTube channel and they're like, yo, my girl's like, you pretty good on the bike. You should put some of that stuff out there. And I'm like, you think? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So we ended up just putting it along with the fight combat stuff.
Oh, for sure, man. I love it, man. I love watching fighters have their own page and revealing like other parts of their life, man. Because most of the time, we only see what you do inside the cage. So whatever we can see outside the cage is a bonus. I want to delve more into this motorcycle stuff, man. Like, talk about the first time you hopped on a motorcycle. Because I remember the first time I hopped on a motorcycle, I crashed.
Oh, you crashed. Damn,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's a part of the game. That's a lot of crashing involved. Um, well, the first time I hopped on a motorcycle, it was my boy Keenan. You see him in the intro on my YouTube. You see him rage quitting, smashing the controller. You know what I mean? Me and him, he's always into motorcycles, and he kind of got me into it. So I used to ride his bike a lot. He let me ride it here and there. I also had another friend that I used to train, and some days he would just leave the bike, and he's just like, "Hey, you can keep the bike for the day," and he'd go work or whatever, and I just learned on his bike. He trusted me with that bike, and I kept it in 1 to 2 gears, and I just ride around slowly, never fell off, and that's how I learned. And then when I got my own bike, that's when the falling started to happen, right? Getting on when I go to the field, I go to the trails and stuff like that, and you want to wheelie and shit like that. So a lot of falling, trying to learn how to wheelie.
I remember back in 99, I'm much older than you are. So 99, I was like almost 20 years old at that time. And
Mhm.
Rough Riders was just insane,
Ooh.
so big. I remember going down to Miami for the Super Bowl, and all you saw was DMX.
Yeah,
And
man.
all those guys was down there, Puffy, everybody. I'd seen them in the street, like in person, and riding those bikes, dude. It was crazy. So is that part of like what you came from? Is that part of like why bikes are so big now?
I mean, it's huge in Jamaica. In Jamaica, bike
Hmm.
life is big. You know what I mean? The 90s in Brooklyn, all about bike life. My dad was into motorcycles. Um, Bike life is just huge, man. And being around all that in the New York culture, you already know.
Yeah.
You know, it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, all my friends outside, they pull up to outside my house and they're revving their bikes. You already know they're like, "Yo, come outside." So that's just a part of the culture of just living in New York, being from Jamaica, Queens. That's just what it is since we were young.
Yeah, yeah. And tell me your worst crash, because man, I've had friends that have crashed on the freeway.
Well, my thing is I'm not a fast. I don't go fast.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? When it comes to that, I know I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? I stay in my lane when it comes to fighting. I stick to that. I'm not one of them dudes doing like and some of my friends, yeah, buck 50 on the highway. You see them, then you hear the sound. Like that kind of crazy shit. I'm not really into that. I'm just chilling on the four wheels, man. I might pick the bike up. I'm going slow, maybe like 30, 40. I'm balancing the bike. I may do some tricks, one hand, sit down, stand up, dance on the seat, that kind of fun stuff. But nothing crazy. My worst crash was happened on the field. I've never crashed outside on the pavement. I crashed practicing stupid tricks on like a on a on a field on the turf or something like that. What is or there's the football field. What is that? The turf.
Yeah, turf.
So I've crashed like that. I fell on turf and scratched my back, my butt, that kind of stuff, but nothing too serious.
And with the motorcycles versus the quad, like I know you have the quad. Do you also have a motorcycle? I saw you riding a black motorcycle. Am I right?
Um, yeah, I have a motorcycle too. I do, but I'm not a speed guy at all.
Mm,
I just like,
cruise.
ride out if they're riding out big in the big packs,
Mm,
the homies are going out, then we out,
okay.
but I'm not really into the top speed like that,
Of course, man. You're a professional fighter. You got to kind of keep that chill
Yeah, I
for a
gotta
while.
protect myself. I gotta protect
Exactly.
myself. But the quads, when we go to trails, I
Mm.
will open up on a trail and I would have fun. I love trails. I love getting my bike dirty and you know, that's fun. That's fun. It's out ripping it up hills and that kind of stuff. That's fun for me.
Do you put the bike away like at a certain point of a camp or before camp starts, or how do you keep that in
I'm
control?
riding right through. Man, I'm riding right through, bro.
You did
That's
the
that's
Cowboy
that's my
Cerrone style.
that's my that's my escape from all in fighting. When I jump on the bike, sometimes I feel free, and I feel like it's an escape from everything else and just always thinking about the pressure of fighting because I don't think people understand. They feel like, well, you're a fighter. You're supposed to just be in fighting, be in the gym. You're not in the gym, yada, yada, yada. And I'm more than just the athlete. I'm more than just a fighter. You know what I mean? And I train 2 to 3 times a day for 2 hours. There's a lot of time left in the day. You know what I mean? I come on my stream. I do my podcast. I still got so much time to do other things. So um, sometimes I ride. You know what I mean? And I'm not one of those people, like I said, gunning it on like the Beltway or the parkways and stuff like that. I'm chilling, man. I'm just having fun. I'm riding slow and I wear my GoPro and like that kind of stuff. So um it's something to just get my mind off of fighting and just so I do it right through camp. I'm experienced to a point now where I know I won't get hurt unless I'm speeding and someone doesn't see me. If I'm just chilling, wheeling in a park or down my block, I'm just perfectly safe. I'll be all right.
For sure, man. It seems like you've been riding for a long time. Experience plays a huge role in keeping safe, and especially on the trails. I think a little bit safer than the
For
streets.
sure.
Now,
For sure.
let's jump right into your last fight, man. UFC 261. That was in April. Big first round finish over Cowboy Oliveira. One arm rear naked choke. Something I don't know if we've ever seen that in the UFC. Something even though just overall very rare. I mean, is that because you're just longer than everybody that you could bust that move?
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and cap and be like, yo, that's what I do. Like, it is what I do, but it's just I'm a longer arms. Joe Rogan hit it right on the head. He was like, look at those arms like a praying mantis. Like I can actually reach. Honestly, I can reach my own shoulder from that position. So I get behind the person's shoulder, and instead of pulling back, I twist and I get a lot of finishes there, and I got a hell of a squeeze, so that also helps.
But I think missing in all of that was like the knockdown that led to all of that. You know what I mean? Like the
Yes,
right
man.
hand. You know what I mean?
My
Talk about that.
guy.
Talk about that.
Yeah, no one talks about that, man. That's something that I pride myself on skill-based attacks, man. Sometimes I see guys just slugging it out and the fans love it and they go crazy and I seem like the hater when I'm just like, all right, like yeah, they're tough. They're fighting, right? Like I love precision-based type of striking, man. Like you see Anderson Silva, Adesanya, what's the guy from New Zealand as well, the smaller guy, the 55er.
Brad Riddell.
Riddle, yeah, he's very, very skilled. Like I like to see skill. I can appreciate, the wars and the fighter's fighter, the guy that's gonna go out on the shit. I love it. That just bleed. I'm a fan. I love that shit. I put it on a pedestal right here. But there's a separate pedestal of the motherfuckers that go out there and they're seeing shots and they're slipping and they go into the body. It's beautiful. It's art. It's actual art. It's beautiful art. And I pride myself on that, man. And when he threw that punch, I seen it and I slipped it and I came over the top. I worked it in practice and I hit it with a lot of guys with it in practice. And it came to fruition in the fight, and I was very proud of that.
It kind of reminded me of Usman's punches. You know what I mean? Like how
It did.
it kind of creeped over the top. You know what I mean? Like
It did.
parried the other hand away and then just
Big
boom.
two.
Yeah,
Boom, down
Masvidal's
the middle.
knockout. That was beautiful. Both those knock. Even that one, man. Oliveira is tough, man, because he took that and ate that and kind of
Honestly, I
survived.
was shocked.
Yeah.
I really was shocked. I mean, look at me. People kind of think I don't have power just off my frame, but um, a lot of guys in my camp with wearing headgear and me wearing 16-ounce gloves, they'll beg to differ. All right, so I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked. But hey, he's a tough guy. Shout out to him.
You mentioned the city kickboxing boys, and they've been talking about moving their whole team stateside. And I was thinking, like, where can they go? And I remember you talking before about, man, I need to take a trip out to New Zealand to city kickboxing, check it out. Maybe you could just do it in reverse now, just bring the whole team to Budokan or to New York, man. That could be a
Oh
possible
man.
spot.
I was thinking that, but they don't want to come to New York. They're running from oppression and running into a whole nother set of oppression. They don't you don't want that. Um, I'm thinking Texas, man. Maybe they'll go to Texas or somewhere like that, somewhere in the middle of America, or maybe they'll just go to I don't know, maybe Florida because the weather. In my head, I'm guessing. I don't know, but I'm guessing Florida or Texas. Those are my bets.
For sure. And you walked out to Dipset, and Dipset is one of my favorite groups of all time, without a doubt. But did you watch the verses?
They got cooked up, bro.
Oh
They got
man, they
cooked
got
up.
fried, dude, like some fish. Oh, it was bad.
Man, it's horrible. You know what it is? Um, you see the difference with Jadakiss. That shows D Block is so underappreciated, right? And they cared about the work. Um, I feel like Dipset just don't have that chemistry no more, man. And the fact that Jim Jones is still relevant right now because he's in the mix right now. He's always putting out music. He's just everywhere on the scene. I feel like we kind of have recency bias. You know what I mean? And I love Dipset. I love Dipset too, but um, we kind of forgot. We kind of forgot, and they had to remind us. D Block had to remind us, like, yo, we got some bangers, and we still here. So I love to see that from Jadakiss, and I love to see when people get their flowers. So shout out to
Exactly,
them.
exactly, man. I loved watching that. I think that's one of the only verses I've watched because it was just intriguing, like what they did. Now you took some hard shots, man, in that fight against Oliveira to the calf. How were you
Yeah.
physically the weeks following UFC 261?
Honestly, I was fine, man. I was fine. It's funny, people think because I was buckled that it hurt me, but that wasn't the case. I'm very springy. I'm always bouncing around. I'm always moving when I fight. And he happened to just catch the leg as I was, compressing, as I'm bouncing, 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 and he just caught it, pop. So it was like a cut kick and just knocked my balance off. But I think I got skinny legs. I know that, and everybody's always gonna be like, "Oh, kick his legs." I'm like, all right, so I'm prepared for that. Um, but because of the way I reacted, it wasn't about pain. It was more about just balance.
It's been around 5, 6 months between competition for you. I've seen that you've been training in different spots as of late. Let's start with
Mhm.
going out to Cali to Kings MMA. Who did you train with out there? What was the experience like?
Man, I love Kings, man. I love Kings. I love those guys out there. That's sort of becoming like a second home in a way for me, man. I love those guys. I also have some family in Cali, so I'm always back and forth. So now I'm like, damn. When I go there, it's all love. The connection was, remember, I trained at Henzo Gracie Academy here in NYC, and Naaman Gracie was my teammate for a long time, and then he moved to Cali. That's where he went. So I went to go visit him and train with him, and the rest is history, man. Cordeiro kind of took a liking to me, and I've just been getting some great work, man. I trained with everybody, man. I trained with Giga. Me and Giga actually sparred. Little Giga, me and him sparred. He's a savage. I've sparred with Vittori, sparred with Medik, Uris Medik. That's my guy. Shout out to him. Um, everybody, man, everybody. Did I say Kelvin? I probably said Kelvin. Naaman, a bunch of guys, man, a bunch of guys. They have a good stable of fighters. Darush, yeah, man, met the really cool people, and Cordeiro is very passionate, So when I'm on the mats, I could see that, and he's genuinely trying to help me, So I like that, And then when I go there, I try to give back everything that I know, my knowledge. I try to spread and help the guys out too. So good chemistry, good work, good push. I love it.
Yeah, and one thing unique about that camp is like they all have a different style too. It's not like you know how some gyms every
Yep.
fighter kind of fights the same because the coach just
hmm
coaches them the same, but that's different for Cordero, man. He's a genius.
He lets you be yourself, and I can appreciate that because I'm a guy that I think is I'm not like anyone else. I think I'm very unique, and I like to be creative, and I like to be have my freedom, and he lets you express yourself, and I can appreciate that. Some coaches are more like, oh, don't do it this way, do it this way, and with him it's more so make sure you're fundamentally sound. But I like that. Let's build on that. but let's not break the rules. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And then I saw that you're going down to Philly to Daniel Gracie's, and I believe Sean Brady's down there. Who else did
Mhm.
you train with over there?
Everybody, man. Shout out to my guy, Body Bags. You know what I mean? Piper.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Piper. Yeah, he's
yeah,
coming back too,
yeah.
right? He broke his
He's a
arm.
beast, man. He broke his arm, but he's getting it together, and he feels good. You know, he feels good. He's gonna be a problem. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, Another connection, man. Henzo Gracie connection again. You know, and again, you know what it was like in New York. Everybody running around, bouncing around everywhere. Once COVID hit and all that, but Daniel Gracie was my first BJJ instructor. That was the guy who gave me, most of my stripes on my white belt. When I first started jiu-jitsu, and it's always love with the Gracies, man. Henzo, everybody. So he always welcomed me. He was like, "Yo, come to New York." He's always, "Come to New York, motherfucker. Come to New. I mean, come to Philly, motherfucker. Come work. Come to Philly." So I get up there twice a week and try to get some work with all those guys over there, pushing the pace and getting some sparring, good grappling. Getting some good work, man. This is some of the best work I've gotten in a while. As far as multiple bodies to push me, and I think it's gonna show, man. It's gonna show on fight night. Right now, we leveled up. We leveled up, and it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and you're at home in Queens, New York, Budokan Martial Arts. You talk about leveling up. Did you decide to like take anything out of your training or your regimen that has advanced you? You know what I mean, in the last 6 months or so.
No, that's the cool thing is that I'm still able to do everything else that I was already doing, just based off of remember when I was in New York and everything kind of went to shit. I was doing a lot of shit on my own. You know what I mean? Even the Luque fight, I trained in my backyard by myself. I had zero training partners. Right? I hit a bag the whole time. Right? So I still have time to do the things and work with my sensei Nardu, and my boxing coach. I've been going to the Bronx, getting some boxing rounds and stuff like that. Boxing is near and dear to me, so I get into the boxing gyms and I like to go beat on them boxers just so they know, not all these MMA boys don't got hands. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of them. Let them know that. So yeah, man, I haven't really abandoned nothing.
Hmm.
I've only added, and I
Okay.
love that.
Oh, for sure. And you got this fight coming up, Jared Gooden. Some people think that this is an odd pairing, especially with the resume you have, and you're coming
Mhm.
off a win, a finish. The science of getting booked. Have you seen a change since the pandemic?
Absolutely. There is a change. There is a change, but I will say this on my end in this particular situation. Um, the UFC and I and my management, we've had a very good relationship, and it's they've always been straight up and they've always given me their word, So in this, I was scheduled. They told me to fight someone else, right? They gave me someone else, and that person refused to fight, right? Or wasn't ready, whatever, right? But I was already promised that date, and Sean's the man. He always he's a man of his word, and he was just like, you know what, I know you wanted to fight, and I'm gonna try to get you a fight on this day. So they were working. I kind of kept bugging him, and I think another guy Jared Gooden, he also wanted to fight. So it just was more about having to get it, just having that space, needing that space filled. So he got me a matchup. Um, and I feel like general consensus is that I'm supposed to just run through this guy, right? And that's not the case. I really don't think so. I think that because it seems odd because of he's only what 1-2 in the UFC. He has he's coming off of a win, as am I, but he had a big KO. Um, I think that this is a big opportunity for him, right? For him to start climbing the ranks and put his name on the map, right? But he's dangerous, man. He has good boxing, durable guy. If you go back and watch his fights prior to the UFC, a lot of finishes. Um, Stylistically, I just think it's exciting for the fans, and the UFC knows that. Just stylistically. I mean, he knows I'm gonna bang. He's gonna bang, and he's throwing hands, man. He's throwing big shots. He has knockout ability. So I think it's a dangerous fight, all in all.
But what matchup hasn't been an exciting matchup you've been in the last, I don't even know, 7 fights or something like that? Think about it though,
Yeah.
you like we talk about it all the time when we speak. It's like you're one of the guns in the division, and Jared I think he's in the mentality of he wants to be one of the guns of the division. So what do you have to
Mm,
do? You have to take out a gun to become a gun, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I pride myself on that, man. I pride myself on that, and I'm happy that I can come out and fans will see me on the card and they'll say, "Oh, snap, Randy Brown's on the card. Like I'm gonna watch that. That's gonna be fire, right?" Because they know whether it's win, lose, or draw, you know what it is. You know what it is with me. You know what I'm coming with. So I love that, and I actually am proud of that. But ultimately it goes beyond that. You already know we got to get to gold. We got to get to numbers. We got to get to rankings and whatever it may be and whoever it may be. If it got to be this dude, then it got to be him. But ultimately, I know I get this done wherever and however I want to.
With the welterweight division, you know what I mean, and the title fight coming up, it's gonna be in New York City again.
Mm.
UFC 268, Usman, Covington 2. We know what happened in the first fight. What do you think is going to happen in the rematch?
I think same thing.
Mm.
I can't call it word for word, but I think Usman gets it done.
What would be the biggest difference maker? Do you think is it because Usman's been fighting and he's been defending the title, been fighting the best guys, rather than Covington? He's been kind of sitting around, right? Do you think that's gonna make a huge difference?
I wouldn't say a huge difference, but absolutely it will make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think Usman has the edge on progression thus far. You know what I mean? He's been active, he's been working, so for sure that's going to play a part. But ultimately, I think that he was the better fighter then, and I think he still is.
The biggest news right now going through the headlines is the latest arrest of Jon Jones. You know what I mean? He's been arrested a few times now, and a lot of people are like they should cut him, they should release him, but at the end of the day, I don't think that does anything. What is your take on this whole situation?
Wow. One of my take, you go to my podcast, you know
Okay.
what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I got a little podcast on Twitch, Touch and Go 170. We had a
Okay.
whole show where we talked 30 minutes on that.
All right. All right. All right.
Nah, but
We'll put
I,
that in there.
I'll give
We'll
you
put
the
that in
take.
there.
I'll
Yeah.
give you a quick take.
All right.
So basically, I personally think that you know, like Dana said, he has issues, and has things that he needs to work on and deal with within himself. But honestly, ultimately, I don't care. I don't. I'm a fan of his work, regardless of what's what. That's unfortunate. That's a personality trait of his, but I think that that's what makes him who he is. And that mentality that he has, or of whatever demons he's fighting, that's what makes him so um filled with mean intention and that violent intention when he does fight, and that's what makes him as good as he is. That's just me personally,
Yeah, I've
but
I've seen I've seen that take
not.
before.
It's definitely not right. I'm sorry. It's definitely not right for him to. I'm not. I don't know the full story, so I'm not gonna get to the details. But it's not right for him to be involved in that kind of situation, right? In front of the kids and all that kind of stuff. Uh, but ultimately, that's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? What he does when he fights, I'm all in. I love it. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan. So if he can get himself together again, I still want to tune in. When he fights, we're all still gonna tune in. I want to tune in. I still want to see him, with that mean intention. And we had a running joke on the show, right? The joke was like, maybe Jon Jones is gonna be about to be a beast of heavyweight. Remember when early Jon Jones, the whole cocaine, him going crazy, doing a whole bunch of wild stuff. That's when Jon Jones, we were seeing finishes. That's when he was running through dudes, right? And then in the middle, when we started to see fights getting a little close, that's when he was trying to be on the wraps and kind of calm. Now he's back off the hinges. He's going up to heavyweight. Fresh Jon Jones.
Oh, the rebirth, but in this
To be fair.
terrible way, right? Just outside the cage. But anyways, yeah, like you said, I agree. Doesn't matter if he fights, we're gonna watch. You can say what you want to
Absolutely.
say. He's a talent. He's a legend of the sport. So, good or bad. Now, I was watching. Are you the co-main event of this show coming up? Did he
I
tell you?
am. My Discord just let me know that this morning. All
Okay.
right. So I was excited. I was like, oh
Uh-huh.
wow, right? But this is my third co-main event.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I'm about to be on a poster on this one for sure. I'm on the poster. Bro, they sent me the poster in Discord. It was Mackenzie Dern versus Rodriguez 2 times.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
times. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, dog. Y'all give me on a poster or what?
Yeah. You might have to talk to somebody when you get to Vegas, huh?
Nah, we gonna get there. We gonna get
Yeah,
there.
for sure, man, for sure. Anyways, October 9th, man, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. co-main event, Randy Brown versus
So,
Jared Gooden. Thank you so much, Randy, for the time, and good luck to you, man.
no doubt, man. Thank you.